the goal isn't just to make more money. The goal is to, all right guys, this is part 2 of the time management, productivity, and increasing your income video series. Now in the first part, we talked about how improving your time management and your productivity is going to unlock a future where if you are a car enthusiast and you want to have an aspirational garage, either that's one really cool car or maybe even a couple cool cars, that is a necessary step. Now in part 2, I want to talk about how do you focus on increasing your hourly rate such that you can either make more money with the same number of hours that you're working right now, or you can choose to make a similar amount of money and significantly reduce the number of hours that you work. The first step is deliberately valuing your time at a higher rate. So if you have an aspirational hourly rate of $100 an hour, which equates to $200,000 per year, assuming you're working 40 hours a week for 50 weeks a year, 2 weeks vacation, or let's say $500 an hour, which translates to $1 million per year or $1,000 per hour, then you first have to be the one to value your time at that aspirational rate. Otherwise, it's a lot harder to actually reach that rate. If you don't value your time at that high rate, trust me, no one else will. Now, this is easier said than done, and it's something that I still struggle with. So as an example, if I order something from Amazon that's $10 and I don't like it, I want to return it, what I've heard some other people do is they literally just throw it in the trash, because the process of returning it, going online, printing out the label, or getting the UPS drop off or whatever, and then driving there and dropping it off, is just not worth their hourly rate. If they value their time at $500 or $1,000 an hour, which I know is super high and I would love to get to that point someday, but again, you only get there by valuing it, right? So if I'm wasting my time returning Amazon packages to save $10 over 30 minutes, I'm not valuing my time the way that I should. That's still something I struggle with, because throwing away a product rather than returning it, it feels, it's something I struggle with, right? I think a lot of you guys can probably relate. But I have been having a few small wins there. So as an example, I had to return something in the mail that if I did not return it, I would essentially lose $30. And if I did return it, then $30 that were in my account would be credited back to me. And I spent, it must have been like close to an hour driving to different places that day. And there were just multiple issues that came up with trying to return this little package. And at a certain point, I thought, dude, this is so silly. Why am I wasting time to save $30? So I just threw it in the trash, and the $30 in my account is not going to be returned. No big deal. Another one that is huge, that is probably more relatable on a daily basis, is grocery delivery. How long does it take for you to drive from home to the grocery store, or on a detour back from work or whatever, stop there, go pick up the items, wait in line at the checkout, load your car, drive home, unload your car, all that stuff? Versus what I'm doing now, and what I have done previously with different companies like Instacart and whatever, is grocery delivery service. Now I do Amazon Whole Foods delivery, and you can either pay $10 per delivery, which is not ideal, but is, I'd still say, a good use of your money in terms of, again, honoring your higher hourly rate. But what you can also opt to do is you pay $10 a month and you get unlimited grocery deliveries for that month. And they do deliver from Whole Foods, which is sure a more expensive grocery store, but again, in the grand scheme of things, I want organic, I want high quality ingredients, I want to save my time. It's a system that works for me, and maybe it'll work for you too. So the takeaway here is that every one of these decisions comes with an opportunity cost. If it takes you 30 minutes to get your $10 back for that Amazon package, then you essentially lost money, assuming that you value your time at $1,000 per hour. That doesn't just mean that you would be making $1,000 per hour in that moment, but that you value even your free time. You would pay a high hourly rate to have more free time and just more autonomy and control of what you do. Number 2 is building off of that leverage point from the first video. So in short, think of a fulcrum, right? As Archimedes once said, give me a lever long enough and I can lift the world. So you have that mechanical advantage. And that mechanical advantage where you put in a smaller amount of effort but get a greater amount of output on the other side is leverage. And we talk about that when it comes to money, using money to make more money. That's capital leverage. We have labor leverage, having other people that you hire do work for you. We have media leverage, where you put in the same amount of work per YouTube video or per podcast or per whatever media unit, and that just scales with the number of people watching it. So there's no additional work, whether you're 10,000 subs or 1 million subs, right? This channel is 15,000 subs at the time of this recording, and my other main channel, my Med School Insider channel, is like 1.7 or 1.8 million, but the amount of work per video is actually quite similar. And then of course, there's AI, the most obvious and easily understood example right now. Is ChatGPT worth the $20 per month? I'd argue yes, especially when you go back to point number one, valuing your time higher. I think that ChatGPT for $20 per month will save you many, many hours. I use ChatGPT for a ton of things, like doing trip research, such as when I'm traveling, like out here to Japan. I use it to help me with crafting email responses, doing research on various topics, either personally or also for my work. And of course, meeting summaries when you're doing a Zoom or a Google Meet. AI is pretty well versed in doing that quite effectively, and actually even better than a human because it doesn't get tired, doesn't miss things, right? So I used to have my assistant sit in on my meetings and take notes. AI is actually better than what a human can do. So if you're younger, you probably can't rely on capital leverage or labor because that also requires a good amount of capital. And even when it comes to software and code, there are some things you can do, right? But the biggest one, the biggest mover, the lowest effort, lowest price, highest reward is absolutely AI. Number 3 is improving your skill set such that the market values your time higher as well. So in point 1, we talked about how you need to value your time higher in terms of how you spend it and the choices you make. But you can't just walk up to whatever company or employer and say, hey, I want to be paid $1,000 an hour. They'll just laugh you out of the room. So to increase your hourly rate in the market, you have to build certain skills. And certain skills are higher value than others. What's more in demand? What is higher leverage, higher value? As an example, a computer programmer is going to have a higher hourly rate than a cashier. It's harder to become a computer programmer. It's a more technical skill, requires more training, far more valuable to a company, and therefore they're going to pay you more versus if you were a cashier. Now, oftentimes people focus too much on pinching pennies. Oh, wow, if I save $100 a month and I invest it in the S&P and it compounds, sure, you should still save and invest intelligently, but there's a lot more effort that goes into saving more money. And at a certain point, your lifestyle will start becoming compromised. You're gonna start compromising on quality foods, or you're gonna shy away from many social opportunities because, oh, I don't wanna go to this thing that costs 50 bucks. So you should be mindful with your spending. Don't be impulsive, don't waste money, but it's generally more advantageous to focus on increasing your income rather than just cutting costs. In terms of the avenues that I suggest if you want to increase your hourly rate, coding is one of the most obvious ones, although some people have concerns with AI that the demand for coders is going to be far reduced, but that applies to many, many different industries. There's learning and becoming an expert in marketing or becoming valuable to other businesses. So when you go B2B, when you sell to other businesses, you can often charge a higher rate than if you're going to a consumer, B2C. So specialized skills like marketing as an example, or some kind of business consulting as an example, could be valuable. I would say web design, but also web design I think is gonna be more impacted by AI at an earlier stage versus other things, just based on how AI is able to add value there and streamline the process. Medicine and healthcare, another great option. Very high income, 300K to 700K on average, depending on your specialty, but it takes a lot of time to get there, a lot of competition, a lot of stress. And you can go with other options. PA, far less competitive, far fewer years of training, not as rigorous, but you're gonna take a pay cut. Now, I would not suggest that you pursue healthcare primarily for financial reasons, and I talk more about the reasons why I do not suggest doing that on the Med School Insiders channel and my other channel, Kevin Jabal ND. Links to those channels in the description. And number 4, and my favorite point, is investing and building in systems that scale. By the way, I've been loving this drive. Back there was Hakone. We got Mount Fuji right here. And shout out to NRT Rent-A-Car. I'm driving an EK9 Civic Type R through them. Use code JABAL for 5% off your next reservation when you come to Japan. And trust me guys, you're gonna love it. So the systems that scale, a lot of people have been focusing on passive income, which I think was ultimately overhyped and possibly even damaging. There was this idea that you could just put money into this passive income vehicle and then boom, you get money on the other side without any effort. But for the most part, there aren't really effective passive income strategies like that. If you want to talk about dividend investing, there's downsides there. If you want to talk about real estate, it's definitely an active process if you're managing your own properties. Now, when I'm talking about these systems, I mean the systems that allow you to make money while you sleep. And it's not passive income, because when you're awake, you're maintaining the system, you're building the system, you're growing the system, and it takes a lot of upfront work. It can often take years and years to create them. And oftentimes you need to keep maintaining that process even years later. Like when it comes to content, for Med School Insiders, I've had that channel for, what, more than 8 years, and we still make videos every single week. That takes time and effort, but it scales. So content creation is a very easy to understand business, because you put in the work up front, and then while you sleep, that content is still being pushed to millions of people around the world. You make money from ad revenue or sponsorships or affiliate marketing, or by selling your own product and integrating that promotion into your content. Another easy to understand example would be digital products. Maybe you have an online course, or you have an ebook. Those are things that, again, you set it up, there's no physical fulfillment, which makes it a lot easier to actually fulfill. And you create your funnels, you send it to your newsletter subscribers, or you promote it, again, through content or other means. And that'll, again, be selling and printing money while you sleep. And then if you have a business, automating various components of that. That means oftentimes hiring people to do certain tasks, or building automations with code and such, like we've done with our business. These are other ways that allow you to stop trading your time for money, because at the end of the day, you only have so many hours in a day that you would actually want to work. So these systems scale infinitely, because they're not tied to your hourly rate in the same way that active income or being employed is. So in conclusion, the goal isn't just to make more money. The goal is to get control of your time. And when you do these 4 things, again, that's valuing your time at a higher hourly rate, leveraging AI, building higher value skills, and number 4, building scalable systems. That's when you're not only increasing your income, but also working towards building that life that you actually want, which I know for a lot of you guys includes driving some pretty dope cars and having these incredible automotive experiences. So please, stop thinking about saving pennies. Start thinking about making dollars. Time is your most valuable asset, and treat it as such. Much love. I'll see you all in the next one.